Hello, I want to welcome you to this episode of live stream broadcast, and we will be discussing wisdom for excelling today. I am Wale Odenusi. We have severally defined wisdom to be the ability to apply knowledge or experience or understanding. Some dictionaries would define wisdom as the trait of utilizing knowledge and experience with common sense and insight. All those definitions basically describe a kind of wisdom, that is the human wisdom. We have three kinds of wisdom, and the two others are the wisdom of this world or the wisdom of this age and the wisdom of God. Majorly, we will be talking about the wisdom of God on this episode, and I will be showing us how it is the wisdom that we need to live a successful and fulfilled life. God made us to have dominion on earth, and God's wisdom is one of the requirements that we really need to rule the world, that we really need to dominate. So what is the wisdom of God then? 1. Christ is the wisdom of God. According to 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 24, which says, "But to those of God's selection, Jews and Greeks, Christ is the power and the wisdom of God." That's Bible into present day English version. So having Christ is a guarantee of access to God's wisdom, because Christ himself is the wisdom of God to us. And then the second thing is the fear of the Lord is wisdom. According to Job 28 verse 28, which says, "And he said to the man, truly the fear of the Lord is wisdom, and to keep from evil is the way to knowledge." Also Psalm 111 verse 10 also says, "The fear of the Lord is the best part of wisdom. All those who keep his laws are wise. His praise is eternal." Some other scriptures will say, some other versions, would say, is the beginning of wisdom. The manifestation of power, that's the third thing, extraordinary power. According to Matthew chapter 6 verse 2 and Matthew chapter 13 verse 24, it was described there how the people in the synagogue, acknowledged the wisdom of Jesus, the wisdom of God upon Jesus when he was speaking to them. And when they saw the work of power, there was no doubt. They had no doubt within them that this man had a kind of wisdom that is extraordinary when they saw the works of power. Let's see two other examples of people who have manifested wisdom. 1. Joseph. It was written that, and Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Seeing that God has made all this clear to you, there is no other man of such wisdom and good sense as you." That's according to Genesis 41 verse 39. This was Pharaoh's confession after Joseph interpreted his dream and provided solution to the problem by the wisdom of God on him. So the wisdom of God was manifested in the life of Joseph. 2. Bezalel, Oholiab, and the wise-hearted men. In Genesis chapter 31, God described how he has given Bezalel his spirit and wisdom and made him full of knowledge and expertise in every sort of handwork. So the wisdom of God made Bezalel to have all sorts, not one, not two, not three, but all sorts of handwork. He had expertise in all sorts, every sort of handwork. So he could do wood, he could do stones, he could do iron, he could do as much as you can talk about or you can think about. When the wisdom of God is upon a man, the manifestation of the Spirit of God, the spirit of wisdom, is limitless. The extent of God's manifestation cannot be determined in the life of such a man. So how do we get God's wisdom? There are basically two ways to get it that I will be mentioning in this episode. One is asking God. This is God's promise to us according to James chapter 1 verse 5, which says, "But if any man among you is without wisdom, let him make his request to God, who gives freely to all without an unkind word, and it will be given to him." So when we ask God for wisdom, God gives it to us freely, without any form of unkind word, without any reproach, according to some other versions. He gives freely to us. So if anyone needs wisdom, he should go freely to God and ask God. Secondly, God's release of wisdom. God has commanded the release of his wisdom through the study of his word and the fear of the Lord, which the Bible describes as wisdom, or as the beginning of wisdom. The spirit of wisdom is the Spirit of God, which is one with God. Also, the Word of God is God himself. So when we study the Word of God, searching for him as silver and as stored up wealth, you know how we search for those things? You dig deep. They are not on the surface. You search deep. We will find him and find wisdom as God rubs on us. When you go through the Word of God, when you obey him, obey his commands in his word, those things rub on you. God rubs on you. And wisdom is what is rubbing on you, because God himself is wisdom. He's full of wisdom. His spirit is wisdom. His spirit carries wisdom. God releases the spirit of wisdom upon you when he wants to give you wisdom. And that spirit is his spirit, which is the same as God. Thank you very much for listening to this. This is where we'll end for this episode. I want to encourage you that you should seek more of God's wisdom. In the next episode, I will be explaining the benefits and so much more other things about the wisdom of God for us to excel on a daily basis. Thank you once again for listening. For encouragement or for questions, you can call 081-053-495-36. I take it again, 081-053-495-36. As you go, the wisdom of God will rest upon you. Thank you very much. This is from Livestream Broadcast, Grateful Lens International. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.